Hello everybody, it is Nicole from iiKiui, and today I decided to do a favorite art supplies of 2017. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing, there's so many things, but the first thing I guess would be this pencil. I've been using it for about 2 or 3 years. I changed them because this part gets really dirty, but they're pretty affordable. I get them at Ichiban-kan, I think for about $2. And they're a shaking pencil, so then if you shake it, the lead comes out. But yeah, I think they're a good barrel size, so that's why I like it. Because if it's too thin, then I don't really feel like I have a grip on it. And then it also has a clip, so if you want to clip it onto anything. But yeah, I really like these. It's a Pilot Opt pen, so pencil, mechanical pencil, and I have several of them. So the next product, I really like these Prismacolor Color Erase. And the reason why I started using these was actually because of Torianne, or Juicy Ink on YouTube. She uses them a lot. And since I'm an animator, we use a lot of blue and red Prismacolor pencils, so I started getting more into it, and yeah, now I have like a whole bunch of them. And they're really good for drafting things and stuff like that, you know. So you may have seen this in a couple of videos before, maybe all of my videos. If I have to erase something and if I'm drafting it, I usually use a knock eraser. This one's from Daiso, which is a Japanese dollar store, and I get them in bulk because I don't know if they're going to restock ever again, but one of these plus 2 refills is only $1.50, so that's a pretty good deal, and that's why I get like 5 of them at the same time. And yeah, they're pretty easy to refill. You just take off the top, put it in, and then just keep clicking it until it comes out. So yeah, that's one of my favorite erasers. I do have a smaller one, but I do like this thickness better because the smaller one I feel like breaks too easily. For the actual erasers, in the beginning of the year I used this one. It is the Moo eraser, and it's supposed to like gather all the shavings together so you don't get a bunch of little shavings. And in the beginning it did, but then afterwards it didn't. But I still like it because it picks up a lot of pencil marks really easily, and it gives it like a really clean look to it. Recently I've just been using the high polymer eraser. It's an overall favorite of mine. I've been using it for quite some time. But yeah, this is just a new one because my old one is downstairs and I don't want to grab it. So yeah, it's a reliable one. For sharpener, I've actually been very picky about this recently because in the past my sharpeners would always break my pencils, and when you have like expensive pencils, you don't want to keep sharpening it. Like color pencil, Prismacolor color pencils, you don't want to just keep sharpening it. So I've been using this one. It is a magnesium sharpener and is made in Germany. I think the brand is called COOM or CUM. I'm not sure. You could kind of see it here. But yeah, I just get this from Blick, and I will leave links down below if I could find it, but usually they have it in store for about $1 or $2. I believe this one also has extra blades, so as you can see here there's 2 extra blades, and you just unscrew it and then switch it out, I guess. But yeah, they're made in Germany. These are my favorite ones, and they rarely break the lead, and they make it super sharp, so this is a good one. For the lead that I use, this one I picked up in Japantown because I didn't know. I thought it was orange. It's not orange, they're just normal colored. But it's a 0.5 2B because I like the 2B more than like HB, but I will use HB if I have to. I don't really like the H's in general just because I feel like they're too light. Some people don't like B's because they smear a lot, but I kind of like the B's because they're softer, but they're also like darker. But I can erase them easy, so that's what I like this for, and this is the last of my 2B before I have to go buy more. This is kind of random, but these scissors, I picked them up in the beginning of the year, and they are Fisker's breast cancer scissors, so the proceeds go to Breast Cancer Research Association, you know. And not only are they pink, they're very good. They're better than these other scissors that I have that were supposed to be like titanium. Those ones are not as good as this one, so this is a good investment. I realize I laugh so much, I'm sorry. Let's continue on. This one is important for me. This one I actually got from my sister. She bought it at her school, and it's just artist tape, but I'm not really sure what the brand is. But it's like sticky enough where it keeps everything like stuck together, I guess. Or if you want to use it to border watercolor paper, I find that it works pretty well. Sometimes the watercolor gets through it. Most of the time it doesn't. And I find this one doesn't actually rip the paper, because a lot of the paper, or the tape that I use, tends to rip the paper. And like regular masking tape seems to not be sticky enough, and then painter's tape is too sticky because I think it's made to stick to walls, so it's too sticky for paper, and when you try to peel it off it just rips it. So this one has been working a lot better than all the other ones. I'm not sure where to get it, but if it looks similar to this. They also come in a bigger size, thickness, so you can be on the lookout for that. It just says artist tape in the inside, so if that's a clue, I hope that helps. Recently I've gotten the Art and Fly fine line drawing pens and the Art Line drawing system pens, and I've liked them both, and I find that maybe it's not a popular opinion, but I think they're better than microns for me, because whenever I use microns they always smear, and I don't know if it's just my problem because other people say that microns don't smear and they don't bleed even with like watercolor or markers like COOLPIX, but mine always do, and I don't know if it's just like my problem or whatnot. But this one actually dries pretty fast. It's kind of a matte finish, so you're not going to get like the blackest black like microns, but I can live with that because they don't smear like at all for me, and they dry really quickly, so that's something I like. There's more pens, but I just chose a couple of them. And then the Art Line one I reviewed not too long ago, but they also don't smear for me. But yeah, I've been liking these a lot, and I find that they're really affordable too. Let's continue to this one. Watercolor set. I've been using this one for so long now. It's funny because in the beginning of the year I think I was still focusing on markers. I did a lot of Copic marker drawings, alcohol-based markers, and I thought that was my medium. I thought that's what I wanted to do. But then I got into watercolors, and now like I think everything I do is watercolor. Most of the things I do are watercolor, and it started with this, and I still haven't even used this aquash pen, but I've kind of used and abused this thing for a little bit. I kind of wish that I would use it more when I travel, but I'm kind of too lazy to do that. Plus I think it's a little harder to clean these things on the go, because even though like watercolors can dry, usually there's too much water to just close it and go because it will seep through. But yeah, I've been loving this thing to death. I still love it. I just don't use it as much. There's also a little thing here. I think it's a stand, or you just like hold it like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I love this thing a lot, and maybe I'll get the bigger one. I think there's another one for a 30 count, but I only have the 24 count. But we'll see. I still have other watercolors that I'm still trying out, so far this one's a good palette one. Speaking of watercolors, masking fluid. I recently got this, and so far I really like it. I'm using the Winsor & Newton watercolor one, and it's, well, like it says, for watercolor, so watercolor won't seep through when you're trying to block out a section where you don't want it to be colored, like say you're doing the background. So this one I've been really liking. I got inspired by iiKiui, I think the artist name is on Instagram. I'll leave a link down below. But they use a masking fluid, not this one, but yeah, so this one has been working really well for me so far. Now this, I've shown it in I think a few videos, but I haven't really talked about, and it doesn't have a brand name on it. I will leave a link down below, as with the other ones, with like descriptions and stuff. But this is a, what is it called? This thing dries watercolors. I don't know the official term. I kind of forgot. Some people call it like an embossing heater, but I just use it to dry watercolors. It works really well. The only problem is that the extension, or the cord, is super short, so you have to be really close to a outlet or just use an extension cord, which I now have in my room. I did not before, so I had to sit really close to an outlet, which is not very comfortable. But yeah, this is pretty good for me so far. There are other brands out there, but this one has worked for me, for the price at least. For these water brush pens, I have two brands. I have Art & Fly and I have Arteza. The reason why I bring up two different ones is because Art & Fly I've been using for quite some time and I really like them still. Arteza has a pack where it has the flat tips, so you can see that they're flat. Let me just, yeah, but then Art & Fly doesn't. They have mainly the brush tips, which I still love, and I like the small tips, but so does Arteza, so I like them both. And oh, this one's filled. I've been really loving them this year. If you haven't seen in most of my videos, I think I'm using these like 70 to 80% of the time. Only recently I tried using regular brushes because I need to get more in the flow of things, but yeah, these are really helpful, and especially on the traveling and on like to go. If you want to do watercolors to go, that's a good option. Here we have the Touch 5 markers, and I recently gotten these not too long ago. I did a review on them, but the reason why I bring them up is because I actually use them for almost all of Inktober. If you guys don't know, I didn't finish Inktober because I missed 3 days, but basically almost every day I used at least one of these markers, and they've been actually proving pretty useful. They are more affordable than COOLPIX, although they don't have refills, I don't think, and it is a chisel tip and a bullet nib. They blend really well for me. I'm not sure if it's just the paper, but even with a chisel tip and a bullet nib, they still blend really well. Even though I still prefer a brush tip, but they have a lot of colors and it's pretty affordable. And I use them for all of Inktober, so I probably will use them again next year, as long as they don't dry out. And lastly, these ones are pretty much all over the internet for artists, but the Uniball Signo white gel pen, and then the Sakura Jelly Roll white gel pen. And I like using this one a little bit more just because sometimes this one's a little flaky, as in it doesn't like to show up, but this one shows up. I just get them on Amazon. And then recently I've been using this one, the Muji pen, and not really for outlining, but just for writing. It's just become like one of my favorite utensils, so I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not sure if I said lastly, but I still have some more stuff. Paper, I've been using this one quite a bit, Strathmore Mixed Media. And the reason why I use this is because it has a pretty smooth surface, but it can still hold watercolors pretty well. And I have it in the smaller size too, I believe the 5.5 by 8 or something like that. And I also have a 9 by 12. And yeah, I bought a couple of these and I've been using them mainly for my Elemental series, which I will bring back, but you know, be patient with me. I'm still working out some details and I have a pretty busy schedule next quarter, so hopefully I can get some videos out. I also recently bought this one. This is a watercolor palette. It says San Francisco Slant 360 by San Francisco Palette Company. I'll try to find it online. If not, then I bought it at this one art store in San Mateo. But it has big dishes, I guess, for watercolors, and you can put your little paints there and mix here, and I think that it's a good size because most of the time the dishes that I have are too small, and when I clean it there's so many corners to clean and I don't like it. But these are pretty easy to clean, and the only bad thing is they stain, but you know, you get some pretty colors in there, it's pretty nice. Now the last thing is this, and this is upside down, but it's also my light box, and it's by Artograph, and I got it at Blix. And yeah, this is what it looks like. It's been proven very useful. It has a little plug on the side. The plug is downstairs, but it is kind of short, so you have to make sure you have an extension cord or something. And then it's just an on-off switch. So unlike another light pad, you can't adjust the setting, but it's strong enough where you can see like through watercolor paper and Bristol board really clearly, so I think that's a good quality for light boxes. The other one kind of does, kind of doesn't. So yeah, this one's a good quality one that I've been using a lot, especially for animation. If you're in animation, this is a good brand to go into. It fits animation paper, so yeah, that's why I've been using it a lot, especially for my side work that I have to do. So I think that covers it for all of my favorite products of 2017. I will probably do one next year if you guys still are interested in it. I hope you guys found this video useful or interesting or helpful in some way, and make sure to check the links down below for any of the information, or if you want to purchase them, you know, I'll put in links so that you guys know exactly where I got them from. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos still, and thank you guys so much for the support. I can't even speak. Keep drawing, keep painting, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!